As you can see, I'm not wearing the hat. Sergeant Sever has been retired for the time being. The winning streak is over. We lost to the Chicago Bulls. And I want to be sure that I put this out here that before I say all the things I'm going to say, and the title of the video might give away what it is that we're doing today, but before I say all the things that I'm going to say, I want to make it clear that Sever the Bond is not upset that we lost the game. I want to repeat myself. I am not upset that we lost the game. We were going to lose eventually. If it was to anyone, I'm glad it was the Bulls and it wasn't. We had our winning streak lose against the Pelicans, because that would have fed some narratives that I really wasn't prepared to have and I didn't want to go into after being so positive for a month. We were going to lose eventually, and they just won 12 games in a row. Coming off of a 12-game win streak and really being like one of 16, it's very difficult to come down on them and be upset that they lost the game. So I want to make sure that I make it clear that I am not upset at the loss. It's not the loss. It's not the result of the game. It's the specific play. Now, something else I would like to throw out there before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's video is I would like to say that if Royce O'Neal had a pulse of any kind, we would have won that game. If Royce O'Neal hit even one of those shots, I swear to God, we would have won this game. I don't think I've ever seen Royce shooting so poorly ever. He had a terrible showing. And I just want to make all these things clear to be sure that there is an understanding of, yes, Young Seven Man is trying to spread the blame a little bit, and that it's not all on one person. But when it is that we lose, it's such a rare occasion, I have to jump on the opportunity to piece together things on camera that I feel like get overlooked, if you will. What the thing is that we're going to talk about in this video, and I'm not sure how long this video will be for, because the topic can really be summed up in a sentence. So forgive me if this isn't the normal long video you're accustomed to. It's just there's really one thing on my mind, and that is Ben Simmons. Now, I got the Ben 10 watched, and I haven't used it not once this season because there's been nothing funny, nothing humorous about the play of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons to me, and you know, before I get into my personal opinion, let's just go to the facts. The man is unplayable in the fourth quarter. You saw what the closing lineup was. It was Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Royce O'Neal, and Claxton. Ben Simmons was nowhere to be found. He was collecting dust on the bench because he was unplayable in the fourth quarter. Now, I understand that Ben Simmons will get some rebounds, he'll get a couple assists, and he'll set some screens, and everybody just comes to the conclusion that he's the missing piece, he's this glue that's holding everyone together. I have to say, with the exception of hitting the occasional three, I want to know what the difference is between Royce O'Neal and Ben Simmons, because I don't see it. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. If we're talking about a power forward that goes out there and passes the ball every now and again, I don't see a difference between him and Ben Simmons. I don't see a difference between Ben Simmons and Markieff Morris. I don't see a difference between him and Day'Ron Sharpe. If we're talking about just a power forward that goes out there and passes the ball, that's not really that much of a spectacle if we're keeping it all the way a bean. If you just want a big that can dribble the ball a little bit, like we can get much cheaper options here. And that's been my biggest pet peeve of Ben Simmons. The fact that we're paying him superstar money. He's taken up a max slot, and we have him out there being Draymond Green. And you know what? That's disrespectful to Draymond Green, because Draymond Green will hit a three every now and again and contribute offensively. Ben Simmons does not do enough on any side of the ball to outshine the fact that he does not score and is incapable of doing so. You know, this man hit a free throw for the first time since November. You know, we're good and well in January right now. It's almost the 5th. And Ben Simmons just hit his first foul shot since November. We're almost at the All-Star break. We're almost at Valentine's Day. You walk into a Walmart, they're already selling the candies. Ben Simmons is a bum. And he can't get away with this any longer. I won't allow it. Just like I did not stand idly by and let Steve Nash get away with the atrocities that he was doing, I'm not letting Ben Simmons get out of this. I'm not doing it. He is worthless. He is a bum. Let's talk about the things that he allegedly does. Ben Simmons allegedly passes the ball. Ben Simmons allegedly racks up the assist. Ben Simmons allegedly is a playmaker. Now, does Ben Simmons pass the ball? Yes, he's very passive. Does Ben Simmons rack up assists every now and again? Yes, he does. But let's really dig deep to this last point. The fact that he is a quote-unquote playmaker. I would like to know where that is. I would really like to know where that is. Now, if he did that stuff in Philly, I'm not a 76ers fan. I can't speak to that. I'm strictly speaking on this season so far. I have yet to see any playmaking. Oh, but Simmons, he's got the assist. He's got the assist. Follow me on this one. When we talk true playmaking, we're talking about the ability to get your teammates easy shots and put them in the best positions to score. Tonight, I watched Ben Simmons so closely as I was formulating my opinion because, first of all, I knew we were probably going to lose, but I was formulating my opinion before the game even started because I wanted to make sure that I was watching Benjamin closely. During this whole win streak, I've been disgusted with Ben Simmons, so I wanted to make sure, just in case we lost, I had compiled enough data. This man will go out there, if he's dribbling the ball up the court, he'll come up the court, and if he doesn't give up his dribble, which isn't that like point guard 101 when you're doing like upward in the church league that you're not supposed to pick up your dribble if you're the point guard at the top of the key, especially if you're not a three-point shooter because you are not a threat to score whatsoever. But this man will pick up his dribble, look around, and start initiating the offense. Not running it, not letting it flow, not looking for the open man, not looking for a cut, not looking for the best option, but he begins to run the offense set by Jacques Vaughn. Now, in the Steve Nash days, I'd credit the players. But we've seen from multiple snippets from the bridge and all these various sound bites they got out there that Jacques Vaughn is the mastermind. He's the puppeteer, if you will. He's the puppet master pulling the strings to get the offense to get to where it needs to be on plays that are not just Kyrie ISOs and Kevin Durant ISOs. Ben Simmons is just starting the offense. He'll pass the ball over to the side, and then he'll just trot over to the other side of the three-point line and stare. That's not being a playmaker. That's running a play that was drawn. Now, I'm not saying that every single time he comes down the court, he needs to dominate the ball, say screw Jacques Vaughn and run his own stuff. But what I'm saying is in nights like this, where the game plan's not working, where individuals aren't hitting their shots, when individuals aren't their normal God-tier selves and it's just Kevin Durant, you have to be able to drive into the paint, kick the ball out, look for Claxton, run on the backdoor cut, or get your shot off yourself. And even if we're saying it's okay that Ben Simmons is incapable of scoring, not that he's scared, he's incapable of scoring. Even if we're saying that's okay, I'm talking typical point guard stuff, where if there's a little bit of a run of some kind, you drive into the paint, you get fouled, and it's like an impromptu timeout because play stops. It's a way to stop the momentum of the other team. Just run in and get fouled real quick. Stop the momentum. Stop the bleeding. But Ben Simmons won't even do that. The amount of times that he actually touched the paint was a little concerning to me because it was so few and far between. For someone who is not a threat to score from outside of the paint, it's incredible how much he's not even down there. with the ball, much less without it. He is allowed to do his Wendell Carter Jr. That's an insult to him because that man plays defense, and we'll get to that in a second. He's out there. I'm trying to think of an example because it's just so difficult to think of someone who is that useless at his position. I'd say Draymond Green, but Draymond Green does stuff. I can't think of an example. But he's out there and he's able to do absolutely nothing and no one says a word. Now, when you're on a 12-game win streak, that stuff gets swept under the rug. You feel me? You're not going to say anything. But when they lose, it's so glaring. Now, when Kyrie Irving is not consistently hitting his shot, because that man is J.R. Smith with handles, I don't know who needs to hear it, but Kyrie Irving is J.R. Smith with handles. And it's just up to Kevin Durant. You would think our other max player would step up and contribute in some way, form, or fashion. But no such activity. We're just going to stick directly to Jacques Vaughn's plans, keep doing the same looks for the same individuals who are not making their shots, and just hope that Kyrie snaps out of it and Kevin Durant is able to carry us. That's not the type of production you get from a max player, especially a max player whose job it is to move the ball, whose job it is to get individuals involved. If the Nets are having trouble scoring outside of ISO KD, ISO Kyrie, it is Ben Simmons' job as the floor general, as the point guard, to go out there and forcibly collapse the defense to get other people involved. And Ben Simmons does none of that. It's just you're able to see it more on a loss. But that's on the offensive side of the ball. Let's talk about defensively. How many times did you see Dragic just take Ben Simmons to the rim like it was nothing? You can't stop Dragic, my guy. You can't stop Goran Dragic. The defense of Ben Simmons has been highly overrated. He has his moments where he shines, I'll give him that. But I gotta say, a majority of the time, it is team defense. Team defense and everyone buying in, with a lot of switches too. But it is very rare that Ben Simmons is just out there locking someone up. It happens every now and again, I'll give him that. But even if you look back at the footage from my coverage of this win streak, some of the times that he's locking people up, Claxton's helping as well. Royce O'Neal is helping as well. Kevin Durant is helping as well. Did you see Kevin Durant on both sides of the ball tonight? And oh my God, I am the last person to give Kevin Durant any praise, but KD was playing a complete game, especially defensively. Even Kyrie was getting in there. What did Ben Simmons do exactly? But if you want to say I'm being too hard on him, and he's not really our point guard, he's our point forward, I have to ask then, what is he out there for? What do we use him for specifically? Because again, I say, if he is able, and this is not the first time that I have brought up on camera that Ben Simmons is notably missing from the end of games. If Watanabe and Seth Curry can replace him for entire quarters, what value does he bring to the team? What is so specific about Ben Simmons that he brings to the table that we can't find in a role player. Kevin Durant's out there because he's the best player in the league. Kyrie Irving's out there because he's an alleged bucket. Seth Curry's out there because he's a bucket. Royce O'Neal is out there because he plays defense. Don't let those threes fool you. He's out there for his defense. Claxton is out there to continue to dominate defensively and be a threat in the back door. I don't like the way that sounded, but you know what I mean. Irreplaceable, all three of them. What is Ben Simmons contributing that you would need him ahead of any of the five men I just described? I think, as constructed, the Brooklyn Nets are capable of winning a championship. I think it's all about matchups. The Bulls, for some reason, we never play well against them. The only time that we did was last season when all three of them were healthy and we beat the brakes off them. But outside of that, we don't really match up well against them. Thankfully, the Bulls are absolute trash and they probably won't even make the play-in tournament. So we don't need to worry about them in our quest. And I stand by everything I've said previously. No one can stop us. If this was a 7-game series, they'd figure it out. Royce O'Neal is not going to shoot that bad for 4 games in a row. It's not going to happen. But I would just like to put out there again, how valuable is Ben Simmons to this team if he's able to be replaced by Seth Curry? We'll be fine. I have faith in us. We'll shake it off, like Taylor Swift said, and we'll be ready for Friday against the Pelicans. I'll be here to cover it. You'll be here as well, hopefully. You're watching Nets Republic. Make sure you subscribe, all that shenanigans. And give the video a thumbs up, too. I don't really say that often, but, you know, all that stuff. I'm Sever the Bond. No longer Sergeant Sever, just regular old Sever the Bond. I'll see y'all on Friday. And I won't rest until Ben Simmons has been exposed for the fraud he is.